I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where we talk about Avengers versus X-Men. And we are dealing with the fallout from the events of the main run where Cyclops, a.k.a. Dark Phoenix Cyclops, murdered Professor Xavier in hot blood.
Mm-hmm.
And
check it and see. He had a fever of 1,003.
And then he dispersed the Phoenix Force. The Phoenix Force was knocked out of him. It went into Hope. Hope let it go. Mutants are born. Cyclops is in jail. Captain America is walking around with a spring in his step and a smirk in his smile. And
it's just like Captain America just walking around with half chub.
Right?
Or Captain America only refers to his boner in terms of mast. Like
of course.
Flag.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like he's only half mast, full mast. But just walking around half mast the whole time being like, I showed him.
That's why he didn't want that sex tape that Jessica Jones found to get out. That was the big thing.
Yeah.
Is he didn't want everybody to know he called his unit the Flag.
Yeah. Yeah. And weirdly enough, so does Unit. So it's same character question mark?
Same character. We get some good Unit content in this, not in this episode, but in this session that we're doing. I'm pretty excited to talk about it. But first we have to get through Wolverine and the X-Men number 18, which I just don't like these Hellfire kids at all. And
I really hate them.
Yeah.
It's weird that I hate them, but I really hate them. And also the thing that's on the cover of this doesn't happen. And I know that's like a first grader complaint about comics, but the idea of Cyclops offering to these kids at the school that include like kids that would be interesting, that's what the cover shows. It's Cyclops being like, hey kids, want to join?
Yeah.
And it shows the kids and like Quentin Quire obviously would be interested in this. Kid Apocalypse being tempted by this kind of like apocalyptic shit is kind of interesting.
Yes.
I don't really care about the little brood guy. But that just doesn't happen here. It is only vaguely, there's a little bit of AVX stuff in it, but it's not very crucial. And you can just tell that Jason Aaron was not interested in AVX touching this book, which is fine. Like I don't hold that against him, but I just don't think that he was that invested in this.
And because of that, I think we get this weird like dual storyline situation where we're going to be dealing with like Brood trying to figure out why people are acting a little weird, while also like the events of AVX 12 are kind of unfolding, and neither one of which are particularly great. Neither one of which are particularly interesting. And I don't know, like the last time we saw, so we skipped an issue because I guess Wolverine and the X-Men number 17 has nothing to do with AVX, according to like Marvel. So I didn't read that one. But the last time we saw these Hellfire kids, they were headed towards the school, and now like some days later, they have set up a robot priest or something.
I hate that plot so much. It's so stupid. Like the idea that a robot priest is making Edie turn bad by preaching to her is the dumbest shit that I've ever read. It's so frustrating. It's like Chuck Austin level shit.
The line towards the end of the book where one of the Hellfire kids is like, do you know how many how much church stuff I had to watch to get the algorithm for him right? And I'm like, you're not that old. Like you've only it's only been a day. Like you haven't watched thousands of hours of anything because it hasn't been thousands of hours. Like unless you're watching them on like 5x speed, in which case none of that makes sense.
Of course they were, because because they're super smart.
Of course.
But the fact that this all boils down to a robot priest, like I'm happy saying goodbye to this comic. I think.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that we will not be doing this.
Yeah, people love this comic, and I go with God. Like I do not hold it against you. I understand some of the appeal. It is too goofy and stupid for me, and it's just not what I go to X-Men for. Like I never felt like my favorite runs of X-Men are not this kind of goofy. This is a very specific kind of goofy. Like, there's a little humor in like Grant Morrison X-Men, which this is oftentimes heralded as like the return of. And I think it's because it's weird and it deals with the school. But the tone could not be further apart from that. Like, the tone is so silly. And I just, man, I don't know.
Yeah. It's not great. A lot of this stuff has not been. We're going to start out.
A big no thanks from me.
We're going to start out in Utopia, where we see everybody fighting Cyclops. And I just want to point out how tall Xavier's socks are. That's the most important thing in this image to me.
Just keep going.
The rest of it is kind of garbage. I don't care about it. But those socks, that's a classic, like, thigh-high old man sock right there. So
yeah, Xavier wears socks that go all the way up to his balls.
Absolutely. He
loves just in case. Otherwise, it's scandalous.
It's absolutely
one of the problem with the comics we're doing this session and our final AVX session, which will be the next batching of episodes, is how many times we see this final fight.
Yeah,
it's like beach flashbacks. Like, we're just gonna keep seeing this fight.
Which I mean, I know comics do this because, like, they want you to be able to see it. Like, in this issue, they want you to understand what's happening, and I get that. But, like, you really do end up seeing all of these people in like 8 different poses during the same 4 seconds, and it just feels weird.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too much, and it's because we're reading it in a way that it wasn't meant to be read.
Yeah,
we cut over to the Jean Grey school where the Cuckoos are kind of monitoring the battle, and they end up, they're checking out. They're here just on leave, on kind of probationary. They realize Brood's there. They're talking shit about Quentin Quire. And this is really just a transition to Kitty Pryde giving Husk a talking to about an incident.
And I didn't really understand this either, like any of this stuff that's happening. Like, I don't know what's happening with Husk because it doesn't seem to be related to the robot priest.
It's something we've read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and like the last few times we've seen Husk, it's just been like, oh, she's weirdly into Toad. And that was like kind of the whole thing. But she's been kind of losing it. She's been not keeping control of her classroom. Quentin Quire has been running amok and forcing our boy, what the fuck, Blob.
Glob.
Glob. Thank
Glob.
you. Glob Herman.
Yeah.
To like, stop punching yourself telekinetically and making the whole crowd laugh.
Everyone loses it. If they ever make a Glob Herman action figure, I'll buy it.
Yeah,
So,
I think I sent you
cool
like a dude on TikTok was wearing a shirt that said "In Glob We Trust," and I have not been able to find that shirt anywhere. And I kind of want it. Like, I just really want. I like Glob.
Great. Yeah, Glob is super cool. Paige can't handle it. She can't, take care of this. So Edie and Brew decide to take care of it, and Edie has turned evil. Mm-hmm. This might have happened in the last issue. That was not AVX related, but now she's like this character who's generally like a good guy, is just like evil smiling and evil laughing and just real happy about this fight.
And Gary, and
everyone's like, oh, never heard you laugh before.
Not even a good guy. Like, she is very specifically like a very religious person. Like, she doesn't.
Yeah, she's the purest.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
she has a real big exception to, a lot of the stuff that was happening with the X-Men, like a lot of it. And she does it. She thinks all of the.
She just hadn't met the right robot priest yet.
That's what it is.
It happened right away. All it took was a couple paragraphs from a robot priest, and bam, total character reversal.
Of course, Bruce suspects something is going on, but he doesn't quite know what yet. There's some comedy scenes of Glob punching Quentin, and then we go back over to Kitty and Jesus Christ,
Paige.
Husk. Thank you.
Yeah.
And my brain today, I've been up since like 2:30 this morning. I'm just fucking out of it. Sorry.
Well, that's really early. 2:30 your time?
Yeah, I woke up with the dogs.
Oh, fuck off, man.
Yeah.
Sleep.
I woke up and I couldn't go back to sleep. And I was just like, okay, I'm awake now. What do I do? And the answer was absolutely nothing. The answer was just like sit in bed and try to go back to sleep. But yeah.
Oh, that's the worst.
I peed 4 times though, so it was okay.
Yeah. Well, man, that day's looking up. Any day that you can pee and walk away from is a good day.
That's a good day.
Yeah. How does Glob pee? No external genitals, but he has a digestive system, so he's taking in water. Do you think he just like beads it?
He just beats it out.
Beads up on his surface.
He probably like it's probably like a sit on a roll of Bounty paper towels thing for a while, right? Just let it just
when he gets up, there's just a big stain.
Yeah,
just
really, like a little glob ass shaped stain. Perfect.
There's a paper towel room, like there's a utility room lined with paper towels. He just goes in and rolls around and then just leaves stains.
Just and never felt
Toad
more
goes in there and like eats them.
I just never felt more pity for Toad having to clean up the paper towel glob room.
Living. I'm an idiot now for some reason.
Kitty and Husk are fighting, or not really fighting, but like Kitty is basically like, you are fucking out of it, and like I'm not firing you, but you can't be teaching school like this. And Husk just like way overreacts, starts ripping her skin off, and quits. And then storms out like full.
Husk, you can't do that every time you're mad. Just rip your skin off.
God, that would get so. Imagine if you were in a relationship with Husk and you were like, "Hey, like I can't."
Gross.
Yeah, I got to cancel plans tonight because my grandma died, and she's just ripping skin off immediately. And you're like, really? It's a rip the skin off argument? Like my grandma died. I can't help it. Yeah, I'm in traffic, Husk. Like, what do I do?
Yeah. So this is her. She quits. She's like the only person who has any sense is the janitor. The idiot man child, Toad. Kitty's like, oh, don't hire any more of Emma Frost's former students. This is very inconsistent with how Husk has been portrayed when she was under Emma Frost, but it's fine. She checks in with the Cuckoos, who try to tell her about AVX, and she's like, no AVX. We have to do something to release the tension. Tell all the kids we're going to have a dance tonight.
So dumb.
And they're holding a prom.
I do not like this. Excuse me. I do not like this at all.
It's weird. Again, like I could see a version of it that works if I was more invested. When I was reading the Krakoa stuff for a while, I was keeping up with it, and I'm really behind on it. So it was very early on. But there's a dance pretty early on in that with like all the X-Men on Krakoa, and it follows pretty well. Mm-hmm. Like it's a good scene. And like you get the kind of things you want from such a scene, which is like, interesting character pairings and like advancing the social subplots of it. And this just, I don't know. Fuck these kids.
Was there
I don't know. These are not my favorite kids.
Was there a war for mutant kind happening in the background of this dance that you're talking about? Because it just seems like, oh, like, we just need to break some tension. So let's have a dance. Is a really weird, like, you guys don't want to just like watch a movie or something. Like a dance
the idea is supposed to be like the dance breaks the tension, but I've never been like, that's never made sense to me. When I am very worried about something, it's not like the dance would be a new worry, a new obligation. Other people, love to dance to work off stress and stuff. It doesn't feel like
like loving to dance. Like if I get on my Apple Fitness and I do a dance program to like, dance some stress away, that's one thing. Planning a high school dance is a whole different situation, right? Like having to come up with like a DJ, having to put whatever, like streamers, a theme, having to make sure everybody has time to get a tux and tickets and all this other. I don't know who. Yeah, and I know. Look, I know we've got a school full of mutants or whatever, but I don't think that even the X-Men could throw a prom in a day. I'm just saying. I don't think it's possible.
No, they haven't introduced prom tour yet. The X-Men with the very specific mutant power.
Y'all called him Prometheus? Really? Yeah. I don't get it.
That's actually pronounced
Prometheus? Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, everybody, common mistake. Don't worry about it. I don't create life. I don't create fire. I just create problems.
Edie is going to sneak out. She's sneaking out of the class. This seems weird too because like I feel like who is watching the kids at any given time? Like it doesn't feel like anybody's
doesn't
watching. Matter. She sneaks a bag of fertilizer out for Krakoa to satisfy Krakoa, so I guess she can leave or even help her leave.
To turn him into a ramp. Yeah.
Great.
It's very video gamey.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
If you throw this thing into the sauce boss, it turns into a ramp to get you over this wall.
God, I can't wait for Elden Ring. Can't wait to throw a bag of shit into a monster and have it turn into a wall for me.
It's so funny too that this is like this weird semi-sentient puppy dog Krakoa, and then all of the revisionist history stuff going on now. That like, oh no, Krakoa is ancient and wise actually. It's not some, weird idiot.
Yeah.
They did just like, very, very inconsistent. And she's basically saying, don't wait up for me. Like, I'll be back in time for the dance, and Brew is obviously worried.
Yeah.
Of this.
He's worried about Edie, and he's also worried about going to the dance because Edie has implied they're going together, and he's big crushing on Edie. If we didn't specifically,
he does not know how
to
dance.
Yeah,
and he's a little brood man, and a nerd at that. So he does not know how to dance. He's got to Google how to dance. We cut back over to AVX, just in one of the jarring shifts of the fight going through, and this is from Xavier's thought patterns.
Yes.
Talking about he started with a school and all the things he's built up, brought people from around the globe, and led us to this. It's the X-Men fighting the Phoenix. It's what we do. And
it's him admitting that he failed. He's saying, well, I should have left everybody at this school. Or, excuse me, we never should have left the school. I should have tried to turn them into like a team like this. Like we should have just had the school. And like, as he's realizing that he failed them, he realizes it's like, oh, I can make up for it if I do this. And it turns his murder into like a sacrifice play. And I'm sure there's been thousands of revisions on this, but like it's just really weird. Like it feels like the ink's not dry in AVX 11 yet, and then we're all of a sudden giving Xavier a lot of agency in his own death.
It was basically what I was thinking was happening in AVX 11 as well, because otherwise it would just be Xavier being real stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like you couldn't shut down the Phoenix before. What is your end game here? If it's not sacrificing to become a martyr to try to snap Scott out of it.
Yeah.
I don't really like that much as a touch, especially here. Like I don't really like how it reads here. It feels like a leap to be like the only possible thing that could fix this is me suiciding by Cyclops.
Yes, exactly. And I do not like that at all. I much more prefer it as to be just Scott lost control. Personally, like that's my
and we're gonna get that. We're gonna get Scott's POV, which has been missing through this whole thing, and we're gonna get tons of it, and it's great.
Yeah, I can't wait to start talking about those two issues.
Yeah. We cut over to the dance they put together with chandeliers and balloons and everything.
And the theme of the party, dance like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah. Y'all gonna die, kids.
Everybody's gonna die.
We get a lot of comedy beats here. Deathlock is a Data. He does not understand these human dances.
Mm-hmm.
Here. We get Deathbird and Dupe are going to go fuck.
Okay.
Which is pretty wild. Like, I was very surprised by this. I never translate Dupe speak, but I was really curious as to like what his come on line was that landed the Shi'ar warrior priestess for his, weird greenness. Like,
do you think I
want
can
to know
just
what he
Google
said.
it real quick? So we can find out.
I'm kind of curious as to what he said. You got those horrible little night crawlers in the background eating all the pizza. Lockheed is the DJ. He's got headphones on. It's real goofy.
Yes.
It's goofy.
There's a link on Reddit that talks about it. There's a Wikipedia page for the issue that doesn't mention it at all. This is a bummer. This is 18, right? This is number 18.
Yeah, 18. Yeah.
Nope, nothing at all.
Dupe translations for Wolverine the X-Men number 17.
I got that.
Damn it. Yeah, damn it. Yeah. What about the Marvel fandom? Does that have it on there?
Fuck.
It seems like that should be on there.
Wikipedia, Phil the comic
God
guy.
damn it.
How is the internet failing us?
Especially when it's about two cartoons fucking.
Yeah, like you would think
this is the internet's thing. How?
This would be the perfect time.
Are you telling me you're not horny for this internet? This is the line? Fuck?
Why does Dupe have a Tony Award at Wolverine the X-Men 17?
God damn it. Brew walks up and he's like, I learned how to dance. He asked Edie to join him for a dance. And Edie is dancing with Quentin Quire because she's evil now. And as this is happening, really incoherently, it's flashing. I don't really understand the connection between these scenes. flashing to Professor X sacrificing himself, telling Logan, not to close the school. Like, no matter what happens, don't let my sacrifice be in vain. Those kids will save the world. Don't close the school.
I found a letter by letter dupe translator, and I am refusing to do that work. unless you want to spend the next like 10 minutes doing that, like in which case I'm all for it, but otherwise I refuse.
No. It's not going to be good.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't understand like the way that these things are related. About the only part of this I like is when we cut back over to the cuckoos and they're like, wait, one of the lights just went out. What does that mean? Like, I like them learning of that, like of him actually seeing like his light go out. I think is kind of cool and evocative.
There's some pretty fucked up art in that panel though. I do not like their weird Joker faces.
Yeah, dude. I was gonna talk to you about that. They do look a little strange.
Yeah, fully Joker-fied. Brew runs off, and where he's running off to is the Robo Priest.
Yes.
He's checking in. He knows there's something wrong with Edie. He's like, hey, is this the place, where you've been? And the priest is going on about how he doesn't offer redemption. He just talks about how mutants are horrible. Edie's accepted that she's evil. You're evil too. And Brew gets really mad. We cut back over to Dark Phoenix, Cyclops, who's losing it. Wolverine it shows a panel of Wolverine cutting off his head is what it looks like here. That's the parallel I got, but it's actually Brew.
Yeah, it's actually Brew cutting off. Yeah. So is it implying that are they happening at the same time as Brew killing the robot priest? The same time Cyclops is killing Xavier, and if so, like, why?
Who cares?
Who fucking cares?
I think so, but why? Why are they connected? Not robot priest, a character finally on the level of Xavier.
Yeah, a character that is maybe like just because we don't know has either been in one issue, this one, or 2 issues, the one we didn't read.
Yeah. Up to 2 issues. The 2 most important characters: Wolverine, Cyclops, Brew, unnamed robot priest.
I do like that the robot has like robot blood though. There's I think we have a dearth of robots that actually like bleed out some sort of liquid when you kill them or cut off their head. Secret MVP of that is the white blood from Alien.
Oh
yeah, definitely, dude.
Milk, like that looks great. That's so scary.
So fucking weird. Like I remember seeing that for the first time as a child, and like I watched Alien at a really young age. Like my mom was watching it, and I was hiding behind the couch for most of it because I was so terrified. I don't know what age that was, but it was extremely too young to be watching Alien, and I just remember seeing that and go like, anything is possible. The world is full of lies. Just like hating, like just not understanding that it was fake at all. Like just thinking that it was 100% real.
The idea of there being different colors of blood is real good. I've said this before. I had a friend growing up as a teen who thought that people of color had black semen.
Yeah, you've told me that before. Absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't that fucking wild? Like people, when you're a kid, you just don't know shit.
You just don't know anything, and there's so many like it's just it's like fucking 4chan where people just will tell you anything and you just believe it or take it for with a completely different meaning than it's supposed to have. It's bonkers, dude.
Doesn't have to be in print. Someone could just say that to you and you'd be like, that follows. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And what are the contexts in which you get corrected? Like we corrected him. The context where he told his friends in kind of like a insecure, like exploratory way, and we said, no, they don't.
No, they don't. And the problem with that is like because of how old you and I are. Like when that conversation was happening, it was like kind of like when we would go to a bar and we would have a debate with a friend, and they would be like, it was actually Steven Tyler that sang on November Rain. And you're like, no, it's fucking not. And they'd say, yes, it fucking is. And then you would just have to end the argument because nobody could prove it one way or the other unless they had a CD. Yeah. Nobody had a phone in their pocket. So like you could tell the kid that black people don't have black semen and he would be like, I don't know. My brother said it though. And I like my brother a lot more than you guys.
We did have early internet. We had like AOL.
Sure.
So eventually that is how we proved it. We did use the internet to show him,
spending 3 minutes to log on. Whose AOL account did you use to Google black semen, though?
100% his mom's. I knew a dude in my mid-20s who used to insist bullshit stuff, and there was no way to prove it, and he just like got off on it. It was a dude who was friends with my ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
The guy drove me nuts, and he used to tell me, he's like, hey, you know when you go to a fast food place and you get fries and there's one onion ring in there, they do that on purpose so you can see how good their onion rings are, to like test them.
No, they don't.
And I was like, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
Yeah, like no, one of them just slips in there. They're all in the same fry basket. And he's like, no. Like, I've worked at a bunch of fast food places. This is something they do. And then when you get onion rings, they give you one fry. And the reason they do that is so you can test out the fry. And I'm like, what the like it was like when Brock first met Dermot. He's like, what? Just kid, no. Like, he just like, can't process it. Like, I was so mad.
Thinking about you Googling, or not Googling, fucking AOL chat searching black semen.
Yeah.
I saw a video
I dogpiled some semen.
I saw a video the other day where some parents were confronting this very tiny child who was on a laptop. And I'm bad at ages, so this child could be. I mean, the child could talk
from 1 to
10. The child could talk and it could use a laptop, but it wasn't like tall. I don't know, like what age does that make it? And obviously, the older sibling was filming this and filming it in secret, but the parents were like confronting this child because she had obviously Googled like real human butts and then sexy human butts or something. Like, the child is just. The idea of real human butts into Google is very funny.
That's
to me.
really good. When you search butt, you mostly get human.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to specify generally, because like,
she doesn't know that. The child didn't know that.
Yeah, that's so funny. Like, I don't want a bunch of animal butts.
Yeah, I don't want a bunch of dog butts up here. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not horny for dog butts. I'm not horny at all. I'm a child. I just want to see something. I want to see something weird, internet. Oh, Jesus. After Brew cuts this dude's head off, cuts the robot's head off, he gets a little like, you could tell yourself that you knew it was a robot all along, which you're always going to know that you lashed out in violence. And this is I don't even remember the dude's name.
Cade Kildare.
He's our Hellfire Club dude. There's a random panel of just Glob running, which if this book was just 20 pages of Glob running, I would probably like it a little bit more.
It's kind of like, man, it's so messy the way this is montaged, or like the way that it cuts between things cinematically, because that's setting up the next scene where Glob is running to the cave to meet the Hellfire Club people who he knows. But in the semiotics of comics, that should be on the next page. Yeah. Like, it's so weird to have that lead in. It doesn't feel right to me. He's going up to these abandoned mines where the other Hellfire, the horrible girl Hellfire Club, and the second in command kid who's exactly like Cade Kildare but less so. And the implication here is that he's telling them about the problem. He's a double agent.
Yes.
He's been working for the evil Hellfire Club. Brew is accusing them. He's like, oh, we know you. You're the Hellfire Club. You attacked the school. And he's like, yeah, that's me. And then also that robot made by my friend who watched thousands and thousands of hours of evangelism or whatever to program the robot. We're just going back and forth between these two things. Yeah. They're talking about, asking Glob whether he's made contact. They're trying to recruit the kids. Mm-hmm. It's like talking about trying to get him to turn Quentin Quire onto their side and stuff.
And also, trying to manipulate Edie.
Yes.
And Brew is wondering why. And then we have more like random cutbacks through AVX stuff where, Hope is punching Cyclops. But then we go back to Quentin dancing with Edie and getting a little nervous. But basically the outcome of this is Kildare shoots. And then we smash cut back over to Cerebro, where we see the after effects of Hope letting go, because they start to see the lights coming back on. They start seeing lights for mutants via Cerebro, which is great. So it worked. Yay! They have new mutants or whatever. All of this is just a fucking out. All of this is just so much.
It's so sloppy. I don't understand the connection between it. The idea of them underlining it's like, okay, there are new mutants, but we lost Xavier, but also, guess what? We lost Brew. And I understand, like, I'm a tourist to this book, maybe Brew was a fan favorite. And there are people out there who are like, man, the loss of Brew certainly deserves to be placed next to the gaining of New Mutants after the decimation, because Brew is just that important. I don't know.
As somebody
I
who
have a
read
hard time feeling it.
just like enough of the Brew stuff to get somewhat invested in the character of this idea that there is a mutant of that species, and then like he's kind of like a signifier for like, oh well, not all of the Brood are just murderous, ravenous creatures. Like they could have a society, but they choose not to. Like there's some really interesting stuff there, and then to just murder him at the end of a book seems really mean.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
Yeah.
And then it ends with this splash page. It's like the next year, the second year of Wolverine and the X-Men begins for some. Just promising stuff with these kids.
Yep.
And finding out what happens to the Brew, I guess. I cannot, it's very difficult for me to care.
The next page has like the big next issue where they kind of tease covers and everything. And I just want to point out, because we're probably not going to read it anytime soon, the cover for Astonishing X-Men 55.
Yeah, dude. That's incredible. It's a gun.
Yes.
Where there's a belt, bullet belt feeding into it, but every second bullet is an X-Man.
I don't know what context that is. I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know what it could possibly be, but I love it. I absolutely adore it.
It's very, very funny.
This issue sucked, and I never want to read Wolverine and the X-Men ever again if I can help it.
Yeah, I'm good. I like Jason Aaron. I don't like this. I don't like his Avengers run. His solo Wolverine stuff has been really good. Yeah. So I'm not writing him off as a writer. I just think this is too goofy.
Fortunately, the next episode of this podcast will be covering Uncanny X-Men, and that's way, way better. Until then, if you want to support the podcast, you can leave ratings and reviews on Apple Podcast and I don't know, like Stitcher. Is that a thing still?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Podcast Addict.
Yeah, Podcast Addict.
Whatever
podcast services are out there. I feel like I get like 8 emails a day being like, claim your spot on Recast, the social network community where people can find your podcast. I'm like, that's just called Apple Podcasts. Like, that's just called Google. Yeah. I don't need that. But
that's not the issue.
You can also support the show at patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv. If you do that, you get access to these episodes early. You can also join the Slack. You can get all kinds of exclusive content on the Duckfeed Network from all kinds of shows. So make sure to go check all of that out.
And Elden Ring's starting up. So Bonfireside Chat going back into an area by area zone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're interested in that, that's a Patreon show. Go to patreon.com/DuckFeedTV. $5 gets you all that. You also get our Sekiro coverage and all the stuff we've done in between, which includes a bunch of super fascinating mods.
Yeah. I need to take a dive on the mod stuff, because that's not stuff I can access. That stuff does not exist for Jeremy's, because Jeremy's don't have PCs, unfortunately.
I like almost all of it more than I liked Sekiro.
Well, that's a pretty short ladder, my man. It's
a good game. Good game, not great. The Dark Souls 3 mod, Cinders, which we played, fixes a lot of problems I have with Dark Souls 3 mechanically. I cannot imagine playing Dark Souls 3 vanilla, but I can imagine replaying it with Cinders. So
that
I get to hear us talk about all that stuff.
The speedrunner Distortion was playing some sort of mod, and I ran out of Mario content, so I was like, oh, let's see what this Dark Souls 3 mod is about. And it seemed to turn Dark Souls 3 into Sekiro. And I was like, and I just had the thought of like, Gary would hate
it is it's whoever wins, I lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I even Dark Souls 3 vanilla, I like.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of things I like about the game. Mm-hmm. But the Cinders improves it in every way. So you get all the Bloodborne weapons. It's fucking rad. They modded trick weapons into it.
Yeah.
It's super cool.
I am jelly that I do not get to play that, because it would require...
I'm going to buy you a PC.
Yeah, but like, really? Because I don't know, man. Like, I barely play video games as it is on the comfort of my couch on a giant screen. Like, I don't think that making it more uncomfortable for me to play video games is really the way to go.
Gonna get you a tiny dark closet with a card table, a folding table, and a folding chair, and no overhead lights, and just the glow of a PC monitor, and you can join me.
Oh, I'm not Don't want to be there, Gary. I don't want to be a PC
I'm going to
guy.
inject you with a pill that makes you get into Baldur's Gate, and that's going to be the first step.
That's going to be on console. They've announced that for console. I'll just wait.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I'll just wait for Baldur's Gate.
I meant the first one.
Hey, you can't
on
play
the third one.
Ollie World right now. That's not on PC, and that game fucking owns bones, so fuck off.
It's not on PC?
I don't know. I'm hoping
What is-
not now that
what
I
is
said
it
it
on?
out loud. It's on Xbox. Or no, on PS5.
Oh, I don't have Xbox. I have PS5 though. Yeah, I can.
I don't
I have a
I
PS5.
actually have no idea what platforms it's on. It's on Switch. Oh no, it's on Steam. It's on everything. It's literally on everything.
Yeah.
You can play it.
Yeah, I'll play it if I want to.
Oh, it's on Gary's
Yeah.
glasses. They've actually pre-installed that on Gary's glasses. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. So I keep getting motion sick in my sleep.
Yeah, because you have to nod to Ollie.
Yeah. I keep doing 900s and backflips. Good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.